Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, May 22nd, 2023. So this will have covered the week of May the 15th through the 21st of 2023. So this was not a super productive week. It's sort of like last week where I'm just working on two major games right now and just, trying to play through them, make any progress I can, all that good kind of stuff. So just wanted to look and see. I haven't heard anything yet about Resident Evil 4's Separate Ways DLC, and clearly there's no DLC trophies in there yet. But I do want to go ahead and bring up Resident Evil 4 briefly because I have actually finished editing the Resident Evil 4 trophy video, so the plans are for that to go up on either Tuesday or Wednesday. So we will see. It'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. Unless I really just it'll probably be that versus streaming on whatever day it ends up going up, because I think that's one that I'm looking forward to. I think I did pretty well with the editing on this one. I think I'm getting slightly better over time. But anyway, when it comes to actual trophy progress earned this week, the first game on the list is Far Cry 6 on the PS5. So as you can see here, I haven't touched most of the DLCs yet, which is to be expected. These are not really that high a priority. I'm probably going to do them once I finish the Platinum, though, because I'm not currently planning on streaming the DLCs unless I get a whole bunch of people in the comments saying, please do these DLCs on streams. But for now, it's currently just going to be the Platinum and these first two DLCs that are now done. So, looking at the base game, I finished recruiting Maximus Matanzas. That is a series of story missions. The game has something like 50-ish story missions total. It's like 15 per faction and then like 5 other ones that you have to do. So I'm over a third of the way through the game, probably about halfway through the game at this point, through the main story, at least in terms of mission numbers. This is, of course, the trophy that you get for finishing the game. And then I completed this trophy for capturing an FND base without being detected. It was really funny because it was one that, I don't think it's the one that I did it on PS4 at all, but it was one where I was just sitting up in a tower and I was just sniping people, and as soon as one of them, I guess, sort of knew where the gunfire was kind of coming from, every single enemy, rushed out to the outside of the fence around the base, but they couldn't see me, so I was just able to pick them off with the sniper rifle because they were all really, really stupid. And then just one enemy stayed behind, a sniper stayed behind inside of the outpost, so I was able to kill him really easily. So that was pretty funny. That was an entertaining way to get this trophy done. Of course, I haven't done this one yet, but I will eventually. Of course, I was able to auto-pop this after completing one. You can auto-pop this after one, auto-pop that after one, that after one. This one, I've probably done about 7 or so of these, because they're a little bit annoying because sometimes the supply drops themselves are pretty far away from the place where you start the missions at. So sometimes you are going to want to have either a helicopter or at least just a car or something nearby that you can use to get there. But I'm getting close to finishing this one, even though there's 20 total in the game. This one, and I bet that you could probably auto-pop this one if you completed 10 of them, but not all of them on your uploaded save file, and then just went and completed one more. I bet you could auto-pop this one doing that, but I can't confirm that right now. This one, I've completed one of the 3 missions that's required to access this yarn story. So, there's 3 different ones you have to do. I think they're all treasure hunts that you have to do to get the Triada relics, and then you go do the Triada blessings. And this one also gives you a Supremo and a follower, an amigo as they're called, so it's important. I won a cockfighting match. This one, there's no way to auto-pop it or anything, but I mean, it's an easy trophy. Just win one cockfighting match on the easiest difficulty. I think I've only done one Grand Premio so far, and I did it on my main file. I'm going to go ahead and do any that I come across moving forward, just because you could probably auto-pop this one. I might still check that out, but I need to still do them on my main file so I can unlock customization options for my vehicles for a later trophy. Haven't played Dominoes yet. I haven't even been on that part of the map. Of course, already had Spec Ops, Banditos. I performed a vehicle machete kill from a horse. This is very easy. Just get on a horse, ride up next to an enemy vehicle, and perform the machete kill. Obviously, best done on a slower moving truck or Jeep. course, already had that one done. Already had that one done. Acquire every Supremo and Yara. I've purchased 6 of them. You get like one of them basically is story related, and then 5 of them are just fully purchased. And then the last one is from completing that Triada Blessings quest line. So we haven't been able to get that one yet. I haven't found any of the USB sticks. I found like one of the Cryptogramma chest clues so far. What's probably going to happen with the collectibles, with the USB sticks, the Cryptogramma chests, I don't know about the vehicles, but the USB sticks, the Cryptogram chests, and the roosters are probably going to be done in like a singular video, sort of the way I did with Fallout 3. Because that way I can just, it'll be easier to edit down, it'll be less just messing around watching a video at the same time. It might look better that way, I might not do it that way. We will have to see what I end up deciding to do for that. Again, maybe if you guys really want me to do it live on streams, I will do it that way. If not, I'll just probably edit it down as a video for all those. Then we have the rides, which this one, I think I've got like 2 of the 4 so far. I found like 1 of the roosters. I've got Boom Boom. I've got, who else do I have? I've got Boom Boom. I've got Guapo. That might be all I have along with the 2 that are DLC ones. Then, of course, Pet Guapo, equip Chikaron. Haven't done this one yet because I don't think I have Chorizo recruited yet on my main file. That one, of course, can be auto-pop, but it's unmissable. This one, there's a certain story mission. I don't remember which one it is. It's either a story mission or a side mission, but one of them takes you to, like, a villa that has a pool at it, and that pool has a shark in it, so that is a great place to do this trophy. Already have the fish one done. This one, you need to have a specific outfit equipped, so I'll probably end up doing this one on my other file where I already have everything unlocked. Apparently, the glitch you can use for the insurgent stuff, by the way, has been patched. The one that you could kill them but not finish the mission, let yourself get killed, and then re-kill them over and over again until it's trophy unlocked. Apparently, that has been patched at this point, so you are going to have to do it legitimately now unless you auto-pop it after completing one from your transferred save file. Disable and hijack a tank with an EMP is pretty easy. Either use EMP grenades or the EMP rounds from a grenade launcher. Hit a tank with it, jump up on top, and hijack it. There are 5 mythical animals, though 2 of them are hunted together, so it's effectively 4 hunts. Sliding the 200 meters at once, I actually got pretty much by accident while doing a supply drop mission, was a great place to do it at. Already had that one done, and I think this one is another one that auto-pops after 1. The Security Control Center, I did this one on one of the sort of central Yara areas. It was right next to one of the treasure hunts for a Triada relic. It was a great place to do it because the security system is basically inside of a little guardhouse on the outside of everything, so it's pretty easy to sneak in and just quickly disable it. So that went pretty well. I also knocked this one out for taking out a soldier from 50 meters above. You can do this with an explosive. It doesn't matter what weapon you use. Because surprisingly, this game doesn't have a trophy for some sort of bizarre long-range headshot with a bow like a lot of the other games do. This one is unmissable. You'll get it at the end of the game if you don't get it just naturally by playing through and equipping new stuff. Also got this one for installing every mod on a resolver weapon. I don't remember which one I did this on, but this one might have somewhat auto-popped. I'm not sure, but I feel like it might have. This one, I've completed like 4 of them, or built like 4 of them. I still haven't even gone to the 3rd faction yet. This one, I've got 9 parts installed, just need 1 more. This, I think, is for reaching like rank 15-ish, and I'm around rank maybe 9. So I'll get there by the time I finish everything else. And then nothing new for the Spec Ops miscellaneous trophies. So the base game is going quite well. It should be done within another couple of weeks. I mean, progress, it just takes a while because the game is kind of boring at times. It gets kind of repetitive at times because it is one of the weaker Far Cry games. Then we have the DLCs, and these were not so boring because they were just outright painful. We'll talk about... Well, actually, no. I kind of have gripes with missions from both sets. So, for Salt of the Earth, I had already finished Cocodrillo, and I actually finished it first try. It was easy, somehow. I finished it first try. I died one time pretty much intentionally at the end, because at the very end, it, like, sort of resets everything. I did it once I hit the checkpoint at the end, so it made everything just a little bit easier at that point, because it despawned some of the enemies and lets you get set up for the final defense. So that one wasn't a problem at all. But then, of course, there was Masio. So this is the second one. This is the one where you have to run like across mostly like a bunch of open fields in one tiny little town, and then you run back up to the two high-rise, not really high-rises, but basically hotel-type buildings or giant apartment-type buildings, and hold out there, and it's quite challenging. This one was awful. You guys might remember that from either part 2 or 3 of the streams. I think it was part 2, actually. This one was horrible. This one was just such a pain in the butt because I kept having absurd numbers of flamethrower enemies spawn. Way more than on any time I had done this on the PS4. I don't ever remember having that many flamethrower guys spawning. It would be like 10 at once, so there was literally no way to escape because you'd immediately be on fire because all the ground would be on fire. Even if you were sniping them from further away, it didn't matter. But that would happen, and then of course, you know, your thing overheats and you can't get to water in time, or it'll just burn you to death. And then Mesozoico, I would say, I would put this one kind of in the middle for all of them. This one, it's not too hard to get back to the start, I found. Like, I found a good path to get back to the start, so getting back isn't really that much of a problem with this one. It's more the holdout in the end because there's not a lot of good sort of shady places. But there weren't an absurd number of flamethrowers at the end, so I got through it within a couple of tries. It still pissed me off at several points, but it wasn't quite as brutal as Masio. I didn't spend as much time on it as I did for Masio. And then for this DLC, the Los Tres Santos is easy, in all honesty. This one is actually quite easy. It's definitely the easiest out of the 5, because, I mean, getting there is easy enough. Escaping back to the start is pretty easy because there's a path you can take that doesn't have very many enemies, and on this one, there's like no flamethrower enemies either, or there's very few of them, so it makes it far more doable. And then the final holdout is super, super easy because you can stand on infinite sources of water in the final area, so there's really no risk of the thing overheating at the end. So it's much easier that way. And then there's a certain equipment setup you want to use for each of the final defenses in this game. You want to use the Libertad MGL, the grenade launcher, and you want to have EMP rounds equipped so that you can take out helicopters in one shot and stun tanks. And then you want to have the Triada Blessings thing, both the Supremo and the Resolver weapon, the one that's the 9-shot cylindrical rifle that looks sort of like a giant revolver, but that one, when you use it with that certain Supremo, you can shoot through like surfaces and stuff, makes it much easier. Puerto del Eden was painful as well. This one was absolutely horrible. Getting back was already enough of a problem because this was another one where every single enemy has a freaking flamethrower for some reason. Though it's not as bad as it was for Masio. There were fewer flamethrower enemies, so I was able to get back a little more easily. But the final defense is just brutal because there's tons of flamethrowers and there's not a lot of shade in the final defense. And there's no easy sources of water. It's just basically water tanks and stuff. But it did, I mean, I finished both of these within like about an hour and 15 minutes or so total to get through both of them. So these weren't as bad as some of the ones over here. Mainly looking at this one right here was the worst one. But otherwise, we got the DLCs. You guys can tell me if you want me to do them on stream or not. I mean, I'm most likely planning on just doing them and not even, you know, putting them in video format or anything. This is really just a Platinum Trophy run, not a 100% trophy run. Of course, I'm going to finish the game to 100% because completionist. And then the other game I've been working on is The Division 2. So didn't get any new DLC trophies this week. No point of talking about the DLCs this week because I've talked about them at least a couple of times so far. So we're just going to look at the main game. So I need to go ahead and delete some of my trophy images as well that I've already, you know, or things I've already finished. So that is presumably story. That is presumably story. And that is presumably story. This was a story-related trophy from the American History Museum, or was it the Air and Space Museum? Whichever one it was, this one was an unmissable story trophy. This one's presumably unmissable story-related. I guess you can kind of do the missions sort of out of order, which is, I guess, kind of nice. This one was another story-related trophy, the Viewpoint Museum. This is presumably story. This one is presumably story. This one's presumably story. And this one's presumably story. And then, of course, finish all the missions on hard difficulty or above. I haven't done any of them on hard yet because I need to get better gear and such, which is to be expected. Fully upgrade all the settlements. I think I fully upgraded the first one you go to, the theater, but I think there is another one somewhere else. I know that there's at least one more. I can't remember if it's just one more or if there's two more. This one, I feel like this one shouldn't be as hard as it is. I just need to look into exactly how you do this one, because I feel like I fought several tanky enemies where I thought I would get kind of close to doing it. But I also still have lower level gear. I'm only a level 16, so still got a ways to go. Control points, I've discovered probably like 8 or probably about 10 at this point. So they're basically just little outpost areas. If anyone knows how their resupplying works, like giving them supplies, is there really any purpose of giving them supplies? Like, I mean, does it really do anything negative if you don't? And does their supplies just randomly go down over time? Because I feel like some of the locations don't lose supplies at all, whereas other ones do lose them constantly. I don't know if anyone has any explanation for that. This one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do in co-op. I think this is a co-op trophy. I responded to a call that was actually last week, but I put out a call for backup this week, which is a very easy, technically multiplayer trophy. Still don't know what this is. Already had that one. This one you're going to get pretty much naturally just by playing through the game, just by randomly shooting medics and randomly shooting the defibrillators on them. This one I've probably finished about 5 patches so far, so this one's pretty much going to be unmissable while going for everything else. This one you just have to go with some friendlies, like find people out in the world trying to scavenge, and give them a few supplies, and it'll unlock this trophy. This one I entered the Dark Zone for the first time. This one I got in the Eastern Dark Zone because it was the first one the game sort of told me to go for. And I've actually extracted an item from 2 of the 3 Dark Zones, the Eastern and the Southern. I haven't been to the Western one yet because I haven't been to that side of the map yet. Haven't eliminated Rogue Agents yet. That one is going to be boosted because I already know it's just not going to happen naturally. Win a match of Skirmish or Domination. I just need to, go do that at some point. That's a fairly easy trophy because I think you get put into teams and stuff for it. If not, I could always boost it. Hopefully I can get this trophy at the same time. The bounties, apparently this trophy's missable if you go to New York before finishing them. But I've finished every bounty I've come across so far, which has been like 3 of them. You basically get to do the bounties once you finish the checklist for an area of the game. This one you can't do till you beat the game. This one you can't do till you beat the game. Level 16 so far. Already had that trophy. This one is, of course, going to require, a full online group of people. So probably going to have to boost that one or get into a group on PSN profiles. The blueprints, this one's pretty much unmissable as long as you're doing projects and stuff. It's pretty much unmissable. I got it just by finishing one of the story missions. Craft an exotic weapon. I know that that's just going to require certain blueprints and items. Specialization, don't know exactly what that one is, even though it's apparently an easy trophy. Invest in each type of upgrade, same thing, don't really know about that. Okay, so the campus, I think, is the only other settlement, but I haven't been there yet. No, I've been to the castle, that's what it is, I've been to the castle. Equip and use each skill, I've equipped like 3 of them so far. High-end purple tier gear or better in each slot's typical trophy for this kind of a game. And then hijack and extraction in an occupied dark zone, which is apparently like each week one of the dark zones is occupied and more difficult or something. I think that's how that works. That's going to be another one that gets boosted. So a handful of trophies to boost, but otherwise nothing too bad. So I mean, again, I'm liking the Division 2 a lot so far. It's a lot of fun. It feels a lot better than the first one. I'm enjoying it way more than in all honesty, I didn't mind the first one, at least for the base game. It was the DLC that made me so angry in the original. I mean, because you had the grindy but easy underground DLC that was just overly grindy and boring. You had the Last Stand DLC, which was stupidly overly grindy and obnoxious because it was so full of hackers. And then, of course, you had the survival mode, and we all know my thoughts on that. Eventually, though, your bingo card / drinking game for Division will eventually end, hopefully within the next month or so. So, with that, level 824, 22%, 25,744 total trophies, 709 platinums, 4,614 golds, 6,798 silvers, 13,623 bronzes. Plans for the upcoming week? Well, it's pretty clear. I'm just going to continue working on Division 2 and Far Cry 6. That is literally the only major focus right now are those 2 games. And then in the future, GTA 5, possibly go back to it at some point, Shadow of the Colossus on PS3, COD Classic, and Outer Worlds. And then just other random old games I need to start at some point. I have talked before about the fact that I do kind of want to do Resident Evil 6 on the PS4's version, just because then I could have all the numbered Resident Evil games done someday, along with, of course, the Resident Evil 4 remake on PS4. But I'm going to wait on that one until all the DLC comes out, because there's no point of rushing it right now, because I already played the superior version of it. But at some point, yes. And then Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, I still need to do at some point, because it does have online trophies, and I'm not super looking forward to that, even though it's not that long or difficult of a game. But those are pretty much the plans right now for upcoming weeks with trophies. It's mostly just Far Cry 6 and The Division until the games are done, which is going to take quite a few more weeks, probably through June, to get those done. So that is going to be it for today's video. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't already, and thank you guys for watching it. And then when it comes to videos and streams this week, like I said, the Resident Evil video will probably be up on Tuesday, or it'll be up on Wednesday, and then I can get started on editing the Fallout 3 video. After Fallout 3 is South Park, then Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and then Far Cry 6. And then I don't know what will be next after that. I still got to go back and do South Park, the Fractured Butthole on my second profile, just to redo that one. Whenever I end up doing New Vegas, it'll only be done in video format. It won't be done as live streams, because Fallout just doesn't do that well on YouTube. At least until Fallout 4 comes out for the PS5. I will probably stream that game when it comes out, but that's going to be sometime probably much later this year. And then otherwise, there will probably be a couple of Far Cry streams this week. We'll see what I end up doing for Memorial Day, though. I haven't decided if I'm going to go do anything for Memorial Day, if I'm going to maybe go to the beach with my family, or if I might try to go home and hang out with Nick, or I'm just going to hang around here, just do nothing pretty much, and take a long weekend. Probably call out an extra day either before or after, because if you guys were here for my stream on Saturday, you got to hear what the company did to us, and it was basically, as the very, very brief version, if you've ever seen that meme where it's like, we need cost of living increases and decent health coverage here, and it's like, best I can do is a pizza party. Except in our case, it was 2 Domino's pizzas that they initially expected us to pay for. That's the short version of it. I'll cover it again in another stream, because that one still, that one got me a little bit. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all later this week for more content.